All right, we are at the top of the hour. Welcome everyone to the GDB Alumni Speaker Series. My name is Pete Berg. I'm a member of the Alumni Board. I, along with my guide dog, Lloyd the Labrador, reside in Naperville, Illinois. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. The title of today's session is Who Are You? Who are you? And what we hope to do today is this afternoon, depending on where you are, is provide you with an introduction of the Alumni Board for the 2024-2025 year. So we'll provide an overview. Not all the board members are with you and will be speaking tonight. So we'll provide a quick introduction of the board members that are not with us. Then we will provide an introduction and allow our two newest board members to introduce themselves. And then we will hear from the chair and vice chair of the Alumni Board for the 2024-25 year, and then an overview of the project teams, things that we will be working on in the upcoming year. And we would really love to have feedback from all of you. And I'll be throwing out various email addresses as we go along, but we really want your involvement and to help us work on things that are important and that matter to you and that are relevant to you as GDB alumni, whether you're a graduate of the Guide Dog program, the OMI program, or the Canine Buddy program. So welcome everyone to tonight's session. We're using the Q&A for questions. So those of you that are connected through the Zoom platform on your computer, you can submit a question in the Q&A. And as Deb just told us a moment ago, if you have connected by telephone, you can raise your hand and Deb will be looking out for that so that you can voice your comment or question for the Alumni Board. So we're very happy to have all of you here with us tonight. And now I will do a quick rundown of Alumni Board members who will not be speaking tonight. Kelly Egan and her guide Caspian are located in San Diego, California. Kelly is a retired business owner and entrepreneur. And you may remember that Kelly spoke at one of our previous speaker series, and she talked about the wine bale company that she had started a while ago. Deb Cook Lewis and her guide Praline are located in Clarkston, Washington. If you're asking where Clarkston is, don't worry, you can't get there from wherever you are. But many of you know Deb Cook Lewis. She is the president of the American Council of the Blind. She is our tech guru. She helps out the alumni chapters and setting up their Zoom meetings. She's got us online tonight, and at any moment she may kick me out of the Zoom room, which may not be a bad thing for all of you. Melba Velez Ortiz and her guide, Professor Chad, are located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Melba is a professor of communication at Grand Valley State University. Lee Moss and her guide, Aviva, were supposed to be with us tonight, but life happened, and Lee, unfortunately, is not able to join us. Lee is located in Austin, Texas, where she is a teacher and school administrator. Chris Yoon and his guide, Doc Sadie, are located out on the East Coast somewhere. And if we give Chris 5 minutes, there's a good chance that he'll be relocating somewhere else. But Chris is a project manager of diversity for Uber Technologies. And our final board member, who is not with us here tonight, is Derek Daniel and his guide dog, Koa. They are located in Indianapolis, Indiana. And Derek is a worship minister. So thanks to all of those board members. And now we will get to the fine board members that are with us. Our first and two newest board members, if you haven't already taken a look at the most recent alumni newsletter, where there are a couple of articles about our new board members. Both of our board members are from Vancouver, but different countries. So I would first like to introduce to you and have her introduce to yourself, Betty Nobel. Betty, welcome.
Thank you so much, Pete. It's a great pleasure to be on the alumni board, and I'm looking forward to speaking with all of my Canadian counterparts because I am from the Vancouver that's in BC, not the one in Washington. So you'll hear soon from Washington. I don't have a dog at the moment. I am on the wait list, and I've been on the wait list now for about almost a year. So I'm getting really excited because I am sure that within the next couple of months, I will have a new guide dog by my side. So I'm totally looking forward to that. I am a retired teacher of students with visual impairments. I taught at a community college for about 30 years, and then I also sort of changed gears and left the college and thought I was going to retire, and then suddenly ended up working in 3 different school districts locally here as a teacher of the visually impaired. So I worked with kids as well. And I ended up doing that for about 5 years. And now I really am retired, except that one of my things, the things I like to do is to give back to the community. And I really enjoy working on volunteer boards. So this opportunity to serve as one of the alumni on the Guide Dogs Alumni Board is something I'm really looking forward to. And I just started my service in July. So it's a real learning experience for me. And I'm excited about the project teams and the work that the Alumni Board is going to be doing. And I'm looking forward to a lot of feedback from any of the alumni, really. You don't have to be from Canada to talk to me. um, yes, I'm looking forward to that, and very excited to be here.
Excellent. Thank you, Betty. And we are happy to have you on the board and representing Canada. The members that are speaking tonight had a chance to select a question that they wanted to answer. So, Betty, what is the funniest thing that someone said to you regarding your guide dog or your white cane?
Well, I have had 6 guide dogs, and my third guide dog was a golden retriever named Kermit. And one day, I guess it was in the early evening, I was at a bus stop, and there was a little boy at the bus stop with his mom. And the little boy said to me, "What's your dog's name?" And I said, "Oh, this is Kermit." And he said, "That can't be Kermit because he's not green." So I assured the little guy that this wasn't a frog, it was a dog. And no, he wasn't green, but he really was called Kermit. So there you go.
Excellent. Thank you, Betty. That is very good. Very good. All right. Now we will hear from our other Vancouver resident, Kirsten French. Kirsten, welcome. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to GDB Nation?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kirsten French, and I am from the original Vancouver, Washington, and I have my guide Nightly with me. We've been together for 2 years, and I'm also a graduate of the OMI program. I am the programs manager of Camp Spark and Sports Adaptations through the Northwest Association for Blind Athletes, as well as one of the camp directors for Camp Spark, which is where I've currently stepped away from running activities with campers since we have a week of camp happening right now. And I'm really excited to be with you all, as well as continue to work with everyone throughout my term on the alumni board. Through my role, I have a really unique opportunity to work with both current handlers, some retired handlers, as well as some future handlers. And it's really an interesting opportunity in talking with campers and athletes of all ages and backgrounds about the benefits of a guide dog, what's working well for them, what's not working, what our school can be doing better or differently, as well as to talk with young campers about what the guide dog lifestyle looks like and how that can benefit them. In fact, many of our campers will be doing a guide dog mobility lesson later this evening, so that's very exciting. In my free time, Nightly and I love to have any adventure we can. We love to travel, hike, and do anything outdoors that we can any time of the year. I'm excited to get to know everyone more.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kirsten. You had selected a question for me to ask you, but I have a different question. I will ask you the other one. Because I think you bring a unique perspective. Like myself, I participated in the orientation mobility immersion program before getting my first guide dog. But if you wouldn't mind sharing with everyone sort of your transition from referring people to GDB to being a GDB client in the Alumni program, and then eventually the guide dog program.
So I first got to know GDB from a professional standpoint, and in that it was knowing the high professionalism, but I only got to see that from the professional perspective and not from a personal perspective. But after becoming blind, I went through the OMI program and got to see, yes, everything that athletes were talking about. I knew that this was such a highly professional and excellent organization, and I knew that for other people and knew it from a professional perspective, but now I got to know it from a personal perspective, that the feedback that all of the trainers, all of the staff give, how individualized it is, and how much it's geared towards a person-centered perspective to provide each athlete and each client what they need, has been huge. And then also to be able to, this week, part of my role, we have some students who are in an orientation and mobility program through a local university who are also guide dog mobility instructors and they're working to becoming comms and and I supervise them in that role. And with that, being able to know that in this professional perspective and using both the OMI perspective and the guide dog mobility perspective that I have gained is helping them to be able to prepare best to be able to continue to provide great services, and from both a youth perspective and an adult perspective.
That is great. Thanks for that information, Kirsten. All right, your question: if you could only have one meal for the rest of your life, what would that meal be?
My favorite meal of the day is breakfast. And if I'm choosing a specific food for breakfast, regardless of the time of day, I would definitely choose eggs because you can eat them any way, shape, or form. My personal favorite is poached, but if it was healthy, I would eat eggs every meal of the day. And sometimes I have to stop myself from eating them. But in general, I also love breakfast because it can be so diverse in so many ways.
Excellent. Excellent. I agree with that. Breakfast is wonderful. Thank you, Kirsten. Before we get into the introductions of our chair and vice chair, just introduce myself a little bit more. I serve as the ADA coordinator at the University of Illinois, Chicago, and I've been at the university for 24 years come this October. I spent my first 21 and a half years working at the federally funded ADA Center that is housed at UIC. And in April of 2022, I became the university's ADA coordinator, where one of my primary job responsibilities is managing employee accommodation processes for both disability and pregnancy-related accommodation needs. All right. Now we are on to introducing our chair, or having our chair introduce herself. Don't really need to say her name, but I will. Claire Stanley, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks, Pete. Hi, everybody. I am Claire Stanley, hailing from just outside of Washington, D.C., on the Maryland side. Those of us who live in the DMV, we pick a side, and so I picked the Maryland side. So I am the Director of Advocacy and Governmental Affairs for the American Council of the Blind. I have worked in the advocacy space for many years now, finished law school in 2015, and have been in the advocacy field for people with disabilities in some way, shape, or form since then. I'm on my third guide dog right now. My guide dog is a yellow Labrador named Tulane. And if that sounds familiar, she is indeed the Disney Princess Tulane from Pick of the Litter. She's wonderful and she is a great guide, and I really enjoy having guide dogs. I've been working guide dogs for about 16 years now.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Claire. And because you didn't select a question, I get to ask a question I get to pick it for you. So
Throw it
you
at
talked
me.
about your role in ACB, and you also serve on the GDB alumni board. You're also, like most of us, like all of us, at times need to be our best own advocate, because no one else is going to advocate for us. So I'd be curious to hear your perspective on, you're wearing multiple hats, and how do you separate that at times? For example, as the governmental affairs and advocacy person for ACB, you may be, just as an example, sitting across the table from someone that runs a transportation company, and you're advocating on behalf of a large blindness organization, but you're also a guide dog user. And you serve on the alumni board, and you're also your own advocate. So how do you work to separate and make sure you're, when you're speaking, that you're wearing the correct hat, if that at all makes sense?
It does. And it's interesting as you say that, Pete, because although I'm wearing different hats, sometimes I feel like I'm wearing maybe just a different variation of the same hat, because even though sometimes I might be advocating for my own individual self, whereas other times I might be advocating for the entire blind and low vision community, the goals and the rights are still the same. And so I might have to put a slightly different perspective or angle on it, but at the end of the day, I'm always advocating for the same thing, at least in this respect. And so I think it helps give me a great perspective to know that I'm advocating for my own rights. But at the same time, when, for instance, unfortunately today, when I took a lift home and the driver denied me a ride, surprise, surprise, and I called the company and reported, I was reporting for myself, but I was reporting for our entire GDB nation, as you called it, and all service animal users out there, because although it was a discouraging and frustrating situation for myself, I knew I needed to advocate because it's going to impact so many people across our country. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think I've just realized that as an advocate, whether it's individual or national or anywhere between, or if you're talking to a corporation versus talking to the federal or state government, we're all chipping away at a lot of the same issues, just coming at it from a slightly different angle. But like I said, that the hat might be a slightly different style of hat, but it's still the hat that I'm wearing to be an advocate, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. I love that perspective. I love that answer. And regardless of the hat, you look fantastic.
Well, thank you.
And when we get into our discussion, our overview of the project teams, one of our teams is our advocacy and empowerment team. And we do have an ask for all of you out there in GDB Nation. And that answer, that perspective that Claire brought to it, it is great and will help us in that discussion. So Claire, I will have one last question for you. We had posed a question to board members last September, asking what song best represents the relationship, the partnership between you and your guide. And do you have a particular song that represents your relationship with Miss Tulane?
If I remember correctly, the song I chose was Good Riddance by Green Day. I hope you have the time of your life, because, well, one, I just love that song. But when I think of working with Tulane, that's just kind of the relationship we have, where we are just having the time of our life. When I was walking to the metro station today after work, she was bouncing in her harness and all happy. And I just, it sounds corny, but just having this realization that we're having the time of our life, we're living life together. She's doing her job, I'm doing my job, and we're just making wonderful, amazing memories together. So again, it probably sounds corny, but we're having the time of our lives together. So that was the song that I selected.
Thank you for sharing that. Does not sound corny at all. I will interject myself here. The song I picked was a George Harrison song called "This Is Love." And what I enjoy about that is in the second verse of the song, it's from George Harrison's final solo album in 1988. There's a line there that goes something like, making fools of everyone who don't understand. And it's a song about it, the global perspective of love. While it could be, a relationship, it's more about love of, community, love of each other. But that particular line, for me, for me as a guide dog handler, and people have pets and have other relationship with pets and animals and so forth, but the relationship between a handler and a guide dog is unique, and at times at least for me it's indescribable. And not everyone can necessarily understand that bond and that relationship that we have with our guide dog. So thank you for that. Everyone, I'm going to ask you all now to take a deep breath, put your seatbelts on, because now we're going to introduce to you the one, the only, the Vice Chair of the Alumni Board of Directors, Miss Maya Scott. Hello, Maya.
Hi, I'm just wondering what kind of chair I am today and what kind of vices I might be dealing with.
Share your vices with us.
Well, one of my vices is partnership with a guide dog and all the love and amazingness that happens between us. So yes, my name is Maya Scott. I live in San Francisco. I'm partnered with my fourth guide dog, who is a spicy little golden retriever named Gleam, who is teaching me to ask permission or ask for forgiveness rather than permission. So it's amping up my impetus and empowerment, as they all have in their own ways. I am an interdisciplinary artist and arts educator, and I work for City College of San Francisco teaching accessible theater and art and movement. And I also do a little bit of adult programming with Lighthouse for the Blind here in San Francisco, and whatever other interesting gig work that comes up, which involves a lot of advocacy and access with our local museums and performing arts and whatnot. So I'm definitely in my happy place with Gleam at my side. And I am also on my second term with the board, very grateful to be with an amazing group of people and um, to connect, to be part of a fabulous bouncy bridge between guide dogs and our community at large.
Excellent. Thank you, Maya. And Maya is going to have some important information to share with all of you shortly. That's what they call in the industry a tease. Miss Maya, we know that you've just recently left your childhood, but when you were a younger child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yes. So Pete is referring to my not so inner 5-year-old who still loves sparkles and tutus, and my not so inner 12-year-old who thinks that farts are funny and it's a good idea to roll down a hill. So to that question, what did I want to be when I grew up? I wanted to be a trapeze artist and a ballerina at the same time. When I was 4, I got up at 6 a.m. and got all of my sparkly stuff out, my tutus, and told my mom that I was running away to the circus. And I remember quite vividly this pretend call that she made to the circus master, asking if they needed a 4-year-old with tutus, and that he didn't. And I was very disappointed. um, so fortunately that didn't come through. I identify as fat. I've always loved dance and movement, a non-traditional body. So the joy is that I was able to share my love of dance and movement and the arts, as a blind person and a fat person, to people with disabilities and people with non-traditional bodies, and find ways for all of us, for everybody, to have the power to dance and create and move and paint and speak out with our whole selves. And just an FYI, the other good news is that I didn't succeed in the circus is during my friend's, one of my cohort partners in my MFA program had me on this low aerial thing, and I barfed. So I would not make a very good trapeze artist. So I'll keep my feet on the ground. Thank you very much.
That could be entertaining nonetheless. Thank you, Maya. We are so happy to have you with us and among us and a part of the GDB community and GDB Nation. All right. This is Pete again. We're going to now move into providing you with an overview.
Wait a minute, Pete. You have an important question that must be answered from the audience.
All right.
And this comes from, and this is very important. I'm saving any others, but Corey says that you must answer a fun question. And the fun question that you must answer is, if you could be on a professional baseball team, what team would you be on?
Come on, this is an obvious answer. Anyone that sees my social media posts, I would be a Chicago Cub. Growing up, I wanted to be a Cub, playing Little League baseball. Even though my Little League team was the Red Sox, I was a Red Sox fan, but they were my American League team. My go-to team is the Chicago Cubs, and just as a quick FYI, the Windy City Alumni chapter will be attending the August 17th Chicago Cubs game against the Toronto Blue Jays. So I would be a Chicago Cub, and thank you for that question. Appreciate that. All right. So we're going to provide an overview of the project team. So and Claire and Maya will be jumping in, and we'll make sure we identify ourselves when we're speaking, so you know who is talking. Prior to my joining the board and Claire, I think this is accurate. If not, it sounds good. So just go with it. The alumni board did visits to the various alumni chapters to get feedback on what was important, what alumni chapters were looking for, what chapter members were looking for. And one of the things that came back was this concept of project teams. So instead of having committees, the alumni board would have project teams. And some of these teams continue from year to year. Some of it is spelled out, sort of vaguely in the alumni board constitution and bylaws. And then other project teams are driven by what's going on. So it could be feedback coming from GDB. It could be things that are happening in the community impacting guide dog handlers, persons who are blind, traveling with their white canes. And this is a good transition into the first project team that we have. This year, the project team is called Advocacy and Empowerment. It has had two different names in the 2+ years that I've been on the alumni board. So 2 years ago, this team was the rideshare team. And this was the team that created the survey that 187 of you completed, and 87% of you that responded indicated that you had, as Claire mentioned a little while ago, had faced a trip denial on the basis of a guide dog. Melba was the lead researcher on that team. She has experience, education, training, and conducting research along with some of her colleagues from Grant State Valley University. They published that survey earlier this year. GDB released that, and there was information sent out to GDB alumni regarding those survey results. It was shared with the media. And Melba was interviewed by a local Fox affiliate in the Detroit area regarding the results of that. Melba and our alumni client engagement manager, I think that's Amy's title, participated in a recent podcast of Central Mark, hosted by the retired Teresa Stern. So check that out if you haven't had a chance to listen to that. So that is still being used by GDB in its conversations with other guide dog schools, with other rideshare companies, and as Claire mentioned, hopefully we're moving the needle in a positive way. This team last year was the travel team and was led again by Claire. And the travel team created several resource documents for air travelers who are traveling with their guide dogs. And we are in the planning stages of doing a webinar. We may be doing this with one of the alumni chapters, hopefully, in the upcoming month. And what we plan to do is provide, with Claire at the helm, providing an overview of those resource documents and how they can be helpful and useful to you when you are traveling by air with your guide dog. And the session will also provide an overview of the Air Carrier Access Act, which is the federal law that applies to air travel. So we want people to understand rights and responsibilities, what airlines can require, what they can't require, what your rights are and what your responsibilities are as a guide dog handler while traveling by air. Those resource documents will be available hopefully soon through the support center, and we will make that information known when we confirm that. The current year look at the advocacy and empowerment team is taking a look at advocacy from a holistic view, and Claire sort of framed this perfectly, that advocacy takes place on so many different levels. And this is where we have an ask for you out there in the audience, and ask that you put in the Q&A area, or you send an email. You can send that to me, pberg@guidedogs.com. We're asking for a couple of things. We recently sent a message to chapter presidents, the alumni chapter presidents, asking them to speak with their chapter members and identify what are the barriers that they're encountering in their communities while out traveling with a guide dog or using their white cane, and provide that information back to us. And we're asking those of you in attendance today to provide that information. We as an alumni board and GDB as an organization aren't going to be able to address all barriers, but it'll give us an idea of what's going on in your local communities and can help guide us in sort of what we're doing, and can help guide GDB in the advocacy efforts that in which they're engaging. So please email pberg@guidedogs.com with those barriers that you're encountering. We know that rideshare denials are still an issue, but we want to be aware of other issues, whether it's specific to your travel, getting around, or if it's just blindness related. Not being able to access information and resources. The next project team is the alumni chapter team. So this is a team that continues from year to year, just like the advocacy team. The alumni chapter team works directly with the alumni chapters. So we have an updated list of alumni chapters throughout the country that can be located on the guidedogs.com website, or you can contact the support center. Please help me. It's at the 800-295-4050 for the support center. You can call.
You got it. Yep.
Thank you. You can get that document emailed to you. It's up to date. It's current with the active. We have geographical alumni chapters, and then there are also topical chapters. Paws Around the World, biblio dogs, tech dogs, are those topical chapters. So the chapters team assists the alumni chapters by supporting them, providing them with information. This past couple weeks ago during the July quarterly meeting, we meet with them 4 times a year. Yes, Pete, we all know that's what quarterly means. Thank you. And Debbie Morgan from marketing presented to the alumni chapters because there is a challenge, a contest. Check the alumni news. There's some great articles in there about this challenge using the new peer-to-peer funding platform, fundraising platform that GDB has launched. And Debbie was there to explain to the president chapters on this challenge and details, information. And if you're not part of an alumni chapter, you can contact Amy Salger, and you can be assigned, put on a team if you want to help be part of this challenge and raise funds for guide dogs for the blind.
Pete, you want me to jump in and do one of them?
Yes.
I'll let you take a breath. You guys can see how amazing Pete is and how active he is in his expertise. One of our new working groups this year that I think a lot of us are excited about, and I'm sure if Derek was on the call, he'll slap my wrist because I don't remember the official name we came up with. But we're working on media and social media and how we can get information out there about, those of us with working guide dogs, or those of us who are GDB grads in general, and the rights of persons who are blind. So all that to say, we are exploring what we can do using things like different social media facets. And so Derek Daniel, who you guys heard his little intro earlier, is our fearless leader for this new working group. We're working closely with GDB. They, as you guys already know, do so many wonderful social media things through things like TikTok, Facebook, etc. So we want to appropriately work in tandem and make sure we're doing what's appropriate and what would work best. So it's still in its infancy, but we're excited because, again, we live in 2024 where social media is huge, and through things like Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, we can really get awareness out there, about having a guide dog, about our rights as persons who have guide dogs, how to work with a guide dog, and you name it. There are so many things that we can do through social media. So this new media content working group is really starting to explore what we can put out there, how we can do it. I know this is probably sounding really amorphous, because at this time it really is, but we're really excited to work closely with GDB staff and see what we can do to really embrace where we are in 2024 with the world of social media, and be able to use that as a platform to talk about what it's like to be a guide dog user and our rights and things of that nature.
Excellent, Claire. Thank you very much. I'm going to go back real quick because I was remiss in mentioning that the chapter team also does the monthly e-calendar that you receive with a list of all of the chapter meetings that are taking place in the upcoming month. And our own Deb Cook-Lewis is the one that puts together that wonderful e-calendar that is well developed and structured and easy to navigate. The communications team, which is led by Kelly Egan, is responsible for the Alumni Speaker Series, which is quarterly, the Alumni Newsletter, which went out last week. And we tried to come up with a theme to tie the Speaker Series and the newsletter together. This quarter, we went with the Who Are You theme, so introducing in the Speaker Series the Alumni Board, and then in the newsletter, there are articles on Betty and Kirsten. And one thing that we're looking to do, and this ties back to our advocacy, and this ties back to Claire and her perspective and her great answer on the question of advocacy. We're looking to have a new section, new articles that would be titled Advocacy Tales, TAILS. Thank you very much, Claire Stanley.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Claire was playing the part of Maya during our last meeting. So we want to hear from you. While it's great to have these, these monumental advocacy successes, we know that all of you are having success within your individual communities, whether that's educating a local business owner, it's educating a family member. Those are successes, and those are pieces that build the greater acceptance, awareness, education around issues impacting guide dog users, issues impacting individuals who are blind and low vision in general. So we would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your advocacy tale of success. So please share that with us. Kelly Egan, K Egan, KEGAN @guidedogs.com if you want to share that. Share your stories with us. We're also looking for areas of advocacy. So, where are you running into barriers? Send us that information. So that is the communications team. Claire just covered our media contact. Really quickly, our nomination team is responsible for the Constitution and bylaws. And the most recent work that this team did was last year was updating the Constitution and bylaws to reflect GDB's acknowledgement that individuals that complete the guide dog program, the orientation mobility immersion program, or the canine buddy program are all alumni of Guide Dogs for the Blind. So the Constitution bylaws were updated to reflect that those individuals are anyone that completes any of those programs, and people can be participants of multiple programs and be members of the GDB community, the GDB nation. All right, and then our last one, last but not least, Maya Scott has some very important information. Maya is serving as the team lead for the reunion team. What does that mean, Maya?
Oh, nothing big, just blah, 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 blah.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
So,
Reunion.
oh, I love it. Sing it. Okay, so we have some wonderful, exciting news um, with as far as the alumni reunion goes. Um, we did a wonderful virtual one, and it was fabulous. And there's a lot of people who are going, "Yeah, that was great." And what about in person? So the answer is yes, we are doing it again. Um, we're doing an in-person reunion in San Rafael, and it's going to take place, save the date, Thursday, October 17th through Sunday, October 20th, 2025. The venue is going to be the Embassy Suites in San Rafael. And I guess that's kind of it. I'm really looking forward to as we get closer, putting out a call for workshop and presentation proposals. We love getting those from our community. And when that comes out, we will also have a theme, which you are welcome to find inspiration from for your proposals or not. And I believe we are also going to have one meeting space that will live stream for those who are itching to be at the reunion but can't get to this side of our big piece of rock. Did I forget anything? Pete and Claire and Betty and Kirsten? Is that it?
No, I think you've got it. It's going to be there will be some virtual events plus the in-person events. We're going to put together some tours for people who would like to do that as well. And there will be a lot of networking happening, and it's going to be a really exciting time and some workshops. And yeah, I think everybody's going to really enjoy it.
And the
Yeah.
Embassy Suites is where the alumni board has stayed a couple of times for some of our meetings. And I just have wonderful things to say about the Embassy Suites. Wonderful staff and a great place to stay. So they've always been good to us and our dogs. So I think it'll be a wonderful place for us to be.
Indeed, the rooms are very nice. They're actually suites. So you can have your pals over for some zoomies and some wine or whatever you like to. And there's a pool. So yay, Embassy Suites. They have been very, very nice.
Is that zoomies for the handlers and wine for the dogs?
You
Just
know it.
asking. Lloyd wanted me to ask that question. Is there anything that you're seeking from GDB Nation at this time, Betty or Maya, in terms of feedback, input, anything at this point, or will that be forthcoming?
I think that's it for now. Look ahead to calls for proposals. So if you have something that you're itching to share with the GDB community that's relevant to guide dog handlers, the blind low vision community at large, whatever it is, we'd love to hear from you when that time comes.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Maya. And at this point, we are going to open it up to the questions that you have. So again, those of you within the Zoom platform, if you want to go ahead and post your question in the Q&A area, or if you want a telephone, Deb will be monitoring to see if you have your hand raised and you have a question. We're happy to hear all your questions. Some things we can't answer. We can't respond on behalf of guide dogs. We're not guide dogs. But if you have comments that you want us to provide back to GDB, please submit those. If you have, feedback, you can always contact the support center, with questions. But before we get into the questions, again, we haven't asked for you. We want to know what is happening with you regards to, working a guide dog out there in the streets, working a white cane, and help us, provide speaker series, articles within the newsletter, advocacy help, resource document development. We want to develop things that are important and things that will be useful to you. You know, Claire was talking about the media content team. You know, providing information where people are. You know, it doesn't do us any good to create things if it's not going to be useful for folks or they can't find it. So we really would appreciate hearing from you, getting feedback from you. You know, going forward. Deb, do we have
Yes.
any
Yes, so we
questions?
do have some comments in the question box, and I'll mention those. So John is wondering what actually would you all say is the kind of the crux of the problem with the ride share? Is it about communication or is it about something else? What do you think the sort of the bottom line is in that area?
This is Claire. I can take a little stab at that. I think that's a wonderful question that cannot be answered in one answer. It's a lot of things. Sometimes it's communication. Sometimes it's cultural. Sometimes people don't, even though they go through training, they don't pay attention to their training. Sometimes it's, an argument of cleanliness. It's so many different things. So I guess my short to long answer is there isn't one thing, unfortunately, and I think that's what makes it a harder thing to tackle. Is there are a lot of different competing reasons we get for why people don't want to take our dogs or don't understand that they have to take our dogs, or a whole myriad of things. So my really short answer is it's not one thing; it's a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. Claire, go ahead. Deb. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to move on to another question.
I just wanted to quickly add real quick from my own standpoint. I think the rideshare companies, their feet need to be held to the fire because ultimately they're responsible. And it's sort of, we're quickly approaching the 34th anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act this Friday, July the 26th. And disability, as many of you know, does not get the recognition of other protected statuses. And if trip denials were happening at the numbers that they're occurring on the basis of a guide dog, if it was being done on the basis of religious, of someone being Muslim or Jewish, or a rider being Black or Latino, the rideshare companies, the outcry would be so tremendous it would stop. And I really think it's incumbent, and that's why Claire talked about it. It's important to report these things, whether you go directly to the rideshare company, you go to the Department of Justice, you go to your state Human Civil Rights Commission, or within your city, the city of Chicago, you can report denials directly to the city because it's covered. So it's important, and I know it takes time. Being an advocate is emotionally and physically draining, but it's really important that our voices are heard.
Appreciate it, Pete.
Good. Are you guys ready for me?
We are ready,
Yeah.
Deb. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. So, I've been asked by John to, if you all would go over the email addresses that's a little bit confusing. Is there any way to maybe write centrally or have them published somewhere so that people could reach the teams if they wanted to reach a particular team, or what's the way to communicate with the alumni board?
What is the simplest way? If you, hopefully you're receiving the monthly or the quarterly alumni news. And if you're not, please reach out to the support center and we can get that fixed. So you should be on a monthly basis getting the e-calendar. On a quarterly basis, you should be getting the newsletter. Within the newsletter, there is a way to contact the alumni board. And Deb, what is the?
Well, so actually, if people, I think he's thinking about the idea of if you want to communicate with a team or whatever, it might be best if people sent email to Amy and let her forward it, because we don't have, what we don't have right now, and maybe should at some point for some of our teams, is a public address that, I mean, we have everybody's individual addresses, but the teams have email groups, but there's not a public access. So asalger at guidedogs.com, ASALGER at guidedogs.com, and we'll make Amy forward all this to us. But right now, that's probably the best way we have.
Yeah, I
actually just got a text from the powers that be that said, send it to asalger at guidedogs.com. So
Yeah.
perfect.
And at the end of the
everything can also
session,
be on
we're
the
going to
website.
give out Amy's home phone number.
Yeah.
Amy resides in the middle of Iowa, where 99% of residents still have landlines. So we'll give
Yeah,
out
so it should work fine if she gets a lot of email, right? So
Yep, go
Jim
ahead.
asks about, he says his issue has been with Airbnb, and he wonders if you all have considered or taken up anything. The issue there is that they will maybe take you, but they want to take you in a pet room and then they want to charge you for it.
This is Claire. I can also talk about that. The disability rights community has actually held regular meetings with Airbnb in the past, and their policy is a blanket policy that service dogs are permitted everywhere, which is, an easy answer, but when push comes to shove, there are real lived experiences. But the main answer is if you're being told that violates Airbnb policy. And if you'd like to talk, feel free to reach out to me offline, and I'm happy to talk to you. I just paused because I don't have my GDB email listed right now, but you can email me at cstanley@acb.org, and I'm happy to speak with you about any of these advocacy issues. But the blanket policy with Airbnb is they cannot deny your guide dog.
All right. And Lynn from the GDB staff says, please, that we're strongly encouraging clients to support their rideshare denials through the DOJ portal, and that there's information on doing that on the Guide Dogs website, and that Guide Dogs is taking a further action with that. So if you all want to talk about that, any?
And there's information I'm pretty sure there's information in the latest alumni news on how to file a complaint. It was just on that website today. It is through the Office for Civil Rights in the Department of Justice. It's a very accessible, usable form. And as Lynn mentioned, you can find that through the guidedogs.com website, as well as in the most recent quarterly newsletter.
And Melba comments that on the service animal and rideshare issue, the real issue there is, she believes, is enforcement. So that's right.
Well put, Melba.
Grand Rapids, Michigan has been heard from. Thank you, Melba.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. And so John also comments that there are a lot of issues in Salem, Oregon, with medical transport not following ADA guidelines related to those kinds of things. And so that there's that. There are quite a few hands in the hands that are not dial-in telephone users. Do you want to take hands from there? We're almost out of time also. It's like 4:53. So how would you like to handle that?
Yeah, we're almost at the end. So if you have questions and you're in the platform, if you want to submit those, we can capture those, and where possible, we can respond to those. But if we are out of questions in the Q&A, Claire, Maya, Betty, Kirsten, any closing thoughts on our discussion with GDB Nation this evening?
This is Claire. I would just love to say, and it's been said before, but please reach out to us literally with anything, whether it's advocacy issues or ideas for the alumni, or just perspectives of GDB Nation. I love that. We should get t-shirts made.
I love that. Yeah.
We are the alumni. We're the board of the Alumni Association, but you guys are the alumni. And so we are here to represent and serve. So please feel free to reach out. Not to bombard Amy, but to bombard Amy. If you reach out to her, she can always get the information to us. So sorry, Amy, but please reach out to us.
I'm
Yes.
gonna piggyback on Claire and just say a specific one. We love hearing your stories, adventures, poems, recipes, and anecdotes, gratitudes, all that stuff for the alumni news letter as well. We love your voices. We know what we sound like already, so we want to hear you. Again, asalger@guidedogs.com.
Or 319, call Amy with an I, as in I want to hear from you. All right, just kidding. It's
Not.
asalger@guidedogs.com. That's great. And our wonderful Melba, a fellow board member that did the rideshare survey, came up with a great hashtag. We've got a right to ride, and we do, in t-shirts along with GDB Nation. We've got a right to stay for the Airbnb issues. But we definitely want to hear from you, and to echo what Maya just said, we want your participation in the newsletter. Send articles, send them to Amy, send recipes, send your thoughts. We want to include those. There are 11 of us on the alumni board, and the alumni GDB Nation is made up of 3,000 plus individuals between guide dog handlers, OMI graduates, and canine buddy graduates. All right, so we are close to the top of the hour. I want to thank profusely Deb Cook-Lewis for keeping us online and all of the tech stuff that she does for us. Again, she does a wonderful job with our e-calendar. And thanks to our board members present, Claire, Maya, Kirsten, and Betty, and to all of our board members who were not present, but physically, but they were with us in spirit. So, and most of all, thank you all in GDB Nation. We do this because of our commitment to GDB. We all love GDB. We want to give back to GDB, and we want to be as helpful as possible to all of you. And so, hearing from you is critical to doing things and providing you with information that is relevant to what you're doing. So thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us. I hope that the remainder of your Wednesday evening is enjoyable and safe, and keep on rocking in a free world. Take care, everyone.
And Pete, should we talk about the next event that's coming up on August 6th?
Well, that's a by invitation only event. So.
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay.
That's the While You Wait workshop. So
While
if you've
You
been
Wait
invited
workshop.
to that,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it's happening on August 6th.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the programs that the alumni board does. We work with first-time guide dog handlers to kind of walk them through the different stages of what to expect while they're waiting for their dog. So another good project that your alumni board is doing. So, all right, thanks for mentioning that, Betty.
Thanks,
Deb, and take care, everyone.
Bye.